Hi, my name is Miss Kelly and I'm one of the teachers on Media A-Level here at Harris Beckenham. On the Media A-Level, you will study a range of media texts and explore ideas around how media language works, the way people are represented and how audiences might respond to the media. We also look at the way media industries work, particularly at the newspaper industry, the film industry and the computer games industry. When you study the media, you will never look at it in the same way again. You will always see media texts in a much more in-depth and analytical way. We look at films, we look at adverts, we look at newspapers and really dig down into how those products are working, the people they are targeting, we look at the way people and stories are represented. In class, we spend quite a lot of time in quite a traditional way of teaching. Students taking notes, analysing texts. We do group work, students working in small groups and presenting their work. But part of the media studies involves the coursework and developing practical skills as well. So probably around one lesson a week we'll spend time on the computers, such as these, using software like Photoshop, Premiere, working on filming, creating adverts and magazines. There's a good range of activities, not only developing essay writing skills and research skills, but you're also going to get some really useful practical skills as well. The skills you learn in media also reinforce the skills you get in other qualifications you might take. So essay writing skills might help you with English, sociology, history, politics, and then the practical skills will perhaps help reinforce the skills if you do a more creative subject, such as art, photography, design, or one of those sorts of A-levels. It's important to note also that you don't have to have a GCSE in media to join the A-level, but you do have to have a grade 6 in English and at least 3 other GCSE subjects. So media works really well with essay writing subjects such as English, politics and history, but equally you can use media studies alongside subjects such as photography, art and graphics as well. 70% of the subject is exam, 30% coursework, so it does mean you are being assessed in different ways. So if you're choosing other subjects, which are 100% relying on exams, it's quite nice to have media studies in the mix because you've also got a coursework element there as well, which could help to balance out other subjects which might be more exam-based. It also means you are assessed on both your essay writing skills and your creative skills at the end of the course. So for the coursework we do quite a lot of practical work, including music videos, so making music videos and making magazines. So each year the exam board give the students a brief, so we'll give you a brief and you are told to perhaps make a magazine that targets a mainstream audience or perhaps one that targets a more independent audience and perhaps a younger audience who wants to change the world. We don't just make magazines though, we also make a linked music video. So students have to create a music artist and band to promote, to link back to the magazine pages that you have created. The practical skills you develop will be really useful in the future, whichever career you choose. So I really hope that you will choose media as one of your options.
A-Level Media Studies at Harris Academy Beckenham is a 2-year course and the examining body we use is EDUCAS. We study lots of different media texts, including TV programmes, magazines, video games, film, newspapers, radio. We cover the whole range of media. There are 2 exams at the end of the 2 years, and you will also complete a project media production, which is a magazine double page spread and front cover and a music video. I'll be showing you some examples at the end of this presentation. There are 2 teachers, myself, Miss Kelly and Miss Goulds, and we have very high expectations of all our students. So as I said, there are 3 components to the course, 2 exams and 1 cross-media production. The first component looks at a wide range of different media products, and you'll be asked questions about lots of different media products. However, in component 2, it's based on 3 media products, and you'll be asked in-depth questions about those. Component 3 is the cross-media production, which you complete at the end of year 12. Here is an example of some of the products that we study. So we look at film posters, we look at film, we look at music videos, we look at newspapers, we look at advertising from the current time, and we also look at advertising from the 1950s and how that's changed. We look at TV programs, we look at online media. So lots of different examples of media. So if you think I'm not so interested in TV, but I am interested in online media, we've got something for everyone. The main areas that we study when looking at the media are the 4 theoretical perspectives, and they are media language, media industries, media audiences, and representation. And you'll be introduced to these concepts in the first weeks of the course, and then we will go on to study each of these things for all of the different texts that we look at. Just to give you a little taste of some of the things that we look at, I'm now going to talk you through power and media industries. And this is quite a big topic that we look at. So we look at key terms like monopoly, which is the exclusive ownership or control of something. And here is an example of what monopoly might look like. So we've got the game Monopoly, but we've also got a symbol of how Disney has quite a hold over the media industry, as 4 of the biggest movies in the last 20 years were produced by Disney. Now, Disney is one of the big 6 media conglomerates, and it owns multiple subsidiaries, such as all of these. Now, this is just a few of the different companies that they own, and you might be surprised by some of it. Like ABC is owned by Disney, ESPN is owned by Disney, Marvel is now owned by Disney, the History Channel is owned by Disney. So they have quite a hold on the media industry, and there are just 6 main companies that produce 90% of the media that we consume. We also study theories and apply these to media as part of the course. And Cohen and Seaton are 2 theorists who we study in depth when we're looking at the media industry. One of the things that Cohen and Seaton said is that it, meaning the media, extends their range of business and political connections, increases their corporation's prestige, and through judicious editorial appointments contributes to the maintenance of public opinion favourable to private enterprise. So basically what they're saying is media companies buy more and more and more companies, so they become bigger and bigger and bigger, which means they become more and more powerful and more influential within the world. If we think about it, News Corp, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, owns The Sun, which is the biggest selling newspaper in the UK, which means he has quite a hold over the opinions that we see in the newspaper. And another thing we also look at is that conglomerates are primarily driven by profit and power. So it's not about what we want as consumers, it's about what makes the most profit for them. So one of the issues with a conglomerate owning multiple media companies, if we look at this, got News Corp, we know, and that's Rupert Murdoch, we know that they own a lot of different media companies. So for example, they own 20th Century Fox, which produced these 2 films, Interstellar and X-Men Origins. Now he also owns The Sun. The Sun, funnily enough, were very positive about both Interstellar and X-Men Origins. Star quality, Nolan's sci-fi epic Interstellar is truly original. Clause for thought. So because News Corp owns both these companies, they can both produce the films and market them in a really positive way. So just some of the things that we might want to think about in terms of having a monopoly are that a monopoly means domination of multiple media industries. If the focus is on creating profit, generally conglomerates don't take risks with the media they produce. And this often results in limited variety, creativity, and quality. Now, you might think, no, we have loads of television, there's loads of media to choose from. But have you ever sat down in front of the TV or in front of your computer and thought, I want to watch something, but there's just nothing on? How can that possibly be? Now, the antidote to the conglomerates is public service broadcasting. And this is broadcasting intended for public benefit rather than to serve purely commercial interests. Now, British broadcasting, when it started, was started as a public service. And this proved as creative commercially as it was innovative culturally. Now, I don't know if you know this, but our public service broadcasting company is the BBC. They're also, you could say they were a conglomerate. They own lots of different types of media and they produce lots of different types of media. However, because they're not primarily driven by profit and power, they can produce different things that perhaps appeal to a more niche audience. So the BBC was set up in 1922 and its mission was to inform, educate and entertain. It is government owned and paid for by the taxpayer. So we pay for that, for the BBC through the licence fee. That's why it doesn't have any advertising on any of its channels. It aims to represent the diversity of the UK, sustain citizenship and stimulate culture and creativity. Does it do that? That's another question. We also have independent producers. So producers that aren't owned by a massive conglomerate. And this means that they're free from the control of a conglomerate. The main independent producer in this country is Channel 4 and Film 4. And what they said they would do is, we will reflect the diversity of Britain culturally and geographically. We will reflect the energy of our multicultural society, and we will reflect the complexity of Britain back to itself. The question is that what Channel 4 does? And that's something else we look at when studying the media. So just to end on, we've got some key facts. Public service broadcasters produce content without the sole intention of profit. So as I said, they're not solely driven by profit, which means they can appeal to a more niche audience. Independent producers contribute to this creativity and variety by providing niche products that often act as the alternative to the mainstream. And these socially diverse patterns of ownership support a more varied and adventurous media landscape. Cameron and Seaton say about public service and independent broadcasting, diversity is in the public interest. And it really is. Basically, what they're saying here is, we have so much to choose from when it comes to the media. How does an independent or a public service broadcaster get noticed in amongst all of the stuff that is produced by the massive media conglomerates? And just as an example, this is something that we study and we are studying in the A-level media. As part of our study, we look at film marketing and advertising, and we explored two different film products, Black Panther and I, Daniel Blake. Black Panther coming from a huge conglomerate, and I, Daniel Blake being produced by an independent production company. Two very different films that we look at. If you fancy it, have a watch of I, Daniel Blake. It's a really good film, especially if you don't generally, if you only really watch mainstream films. It would be great if you could have a little look at something a little different. And finally, just a quick chat about coursework. So here is some examples, or here are some examples of the coursework produced by our students last year. This is the magazine part of the course. So they produced the two front covers and the two double page spreads. And they also produced two music videos to go with them. And this is something that you'll be doing on the course at the end of year 12. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. I hope it's whetted your appetite a little bit for media and that you'll be interested in joining us next year in September. Thanks for watching.